What up? What up? I didn't know nobody was talking to me, my bad. The banks collapsed. Trump's getting arrested. You lost the news. I lost the news? What do you mean I lost the news? Let me bring you up to speed. I watch World Star Hip Hop every day. And they keep me informed. So, yes. Yeah, I got the news. Yeah. Yeah, I know Trump hasn't been arrested. They're trying to figure out how to arrest him. So they wanted, okay, so what they did was they indicted him, right? All right, so Trump has been indicted, is what it is. But, of course, when they indict you, they over-indict you, which means they charge you with a bunch of things and then they try to narrow it down, right? What they did was first they had a bunch of felonies against him, which they already tried to get him on that. But, yeah, they had a bunch of felonies against him, and then they went and took those felonies and then they dumped them down to a misdemeanor. And then they turned around and had some misdemeanors and chalked them up to a felony. And that's what they're thinking about arresting him on. And they don't know whether they're going to handcuff him or not. But I think this all has to do with the next election. And I think they just don't want him to win, even though he's a clear favorite. There's nobody close. Listen, I've never seen nothing like this in my life. Where, well, hold on, let me not say that because Obama did this, but it was different from Obama. People ran against Obama in his party, but they knew they weren't going to win, and Hillary was their best bet. And then before that, it was, Bush or something like that. It was, Bill. I don't know who it was, but it was just not going to happen. Obama was going to win. But what they did this time was everybody who went against Donald Trump when he was first getting indicted after the 6th of January, all of those people no longer run for office. They all dropped out. All of them are done. All of them are finished. Every single one of them. The party completely turned against them. And they are afraid of Donald Trump. I've never seen anyone afraid of a possible president-elect. They're scared to death of him. So nobody wants to say anything against him, or all these people were stepping up in his own party and talking about him. You don't hear none of that. All those people are finished. So there's only one clear front runner, and that's Donald Trump. And I think that what happened was, being that they already tried to get him on those felonies and it didn't work, they can't double jeopardy to try to get you again. So they took the misdemeanors and said, we're going to make those felonies and we're going to try to get him on something in order so he doesn't win. Because if Trump wins, then the borders are going to be closed again. What you're probably going to see is a mass exodus of people going the other way back to Mexico because they don't have cards. They're here illegally. So Trump is going to get the U.S. Army, the National Reserves, and he's going to send them down there and say, and go wrestle up all these people that came in. All of those, and some of those people, we know that they're cartels. We know it. So he's going to clean up shop, and the cartel doesn't want that. And that's where the big thing is going to come in. Yeah, the government, well, he's going to do some cleaning up, but it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. Because don't forget, Trump took over the military. And some of the military did not want to go help the people in the Oval Office. The military didn't want to rescue the people. Pelosi and all them, they were all on their own. The military's like, no, we're not going to help you. They wanted Trump to stay in office. So if Trump gets back in office, you're going to see a lot of people who don't have green cards kicked back to their country, and it's going to be very bloody. It's going to be violent because those people don't want to go back to where they came from. But it's going to be bad. It's going to be very bad. So, yeah, I've been paying attention to the news. I don't think they're going to arrest him. I think they're going to try to get him so where he can't be elected. They're going to find some way so there's no way he's going to get in that office. Because if Donald Trump gets back in office for another 4 years, Bill Gates is going to be in trouble. I mean, the stuff that Walmart is doing, it's going to be a cluster. It's going to be bad, and it's going to be a civil war. I mean, we already got, it's going to be over. It's going to be a civil war. We already seen the military was divided against itself. If Trump comes back, he's going to order the military to snatch people up. It's going to be terrible. Mississippi is going to burn. Because Mississippi just put the Jim Crow laws back again. Mississippi's going to burn. It's going to burn. You know, they already had one kid who was cut up. His whole body was dismembered. He's 24 years old. That just happened. Mississippi's going to freaking burn. So it's all these people who are going to Jeffrey Epstein's island. There's going to be some serious indictments. Probably some of your favorite performers, because he's going to get a hold of that list. So some of your favorite performers who are on that list, who we know are on that list, that case might be blown wide open. That's a lot of guilty people just for going to the island. So it's gonna be a mess. And if the U.S. military then Kamala would be the first female president. Kamala Harris would be the first female president. When is the presidential election? I don't even know when it is. I haven't been paying enough. But you got to understand inflation, the way inflation has been going, that whole thing, a lot of that's going to change. The banks and what the banks have been doing, a lot of that's going to come to a screeching halt. Like so next year. So the banks are failing. I looked at one of my accounts today and could not believe, I was in shock. I was like, damn, my investment just tanked on me. I had some pretty good investments going on. So Monday, I have to go in there and I have to stop trading on them because they just tanked, and I don't want to lose any more money, on my Roth IRA. So I'm just going to take my losses and sell them. I'm going to sell all of them. I'm not taking any more losses. I do. I have some now. As a matter of fact, I sold an appliance. I sold a couple of them. I sold an appliance, and then I did a job yesterday where I fixed an appliance. And I took both of those amounts and I went ahead. Well, I didn't take the whole amount, but I just went ahead and said, you know what, let me go throw this into Bitcoin, because I heard somebody saying, listen, put your money into real estate, put it into assets, take your money out the bank, put it into Bitcoin, And then I've been watching Bitcoin closely, ever since it sank down to 17, um, which, hurt me a little bit. Then I've been getting out and getting in, and then it went up to 22, 23. I was like, okay, yeah, Airbnb something. And then I saw it tank again, but when it went down again to like 21, I was like, it's gonna go up. Well, it went to 20. I said it's gonna go up. I pulled out of it, but I was like, it's gonna go back up. Now it's up to 27, so I should have stayed in. But it's okay. I didn't lose that much. It's like $50 or something. So now I'm in. I'm a couple $100 in, but I'm not trying to lose that money. But at least I can watch like I watch Bitcoin all the time now, and yeah. So right now I'm down $3. Yeah, yeah. It's 27 now. But I didn't get back into it until now. So I haven't really I didn't really reap the benefits of that when it went from 20 and hit 24. I didn't reap the benefits of that. And I was kind of like, I missed it. And it was one straight shot. And pow. So, if I'd have had at least $400 on that, it jumped up. It jumped like 6-7%. It would have been a nice little, I don't know, maybe $100 or something. No, it would have been. Let's see, I had 450 on it. 4 times 7 is what, 28. So yeah, I would have got close to $30 off of that, but I had got out of it because I had 450 on it and I lost the 50. So I said, you know what, I'm just gonna get out and see what it does. But I went back in, and what I'm think I'm gonna do, because it's just been holding at it's holding right now. So I think it's gonna be a drop. Let's see, today it's holding at 27. Yeah, I think there might be let's see. I think there might be a drop down to like 24 again. And then I think it's going to skyrocket into the 30s. So if it drops down to like 24 or something like that, I'm gonna go hard in the paint. I'm gonna go hard in the paint. I'm just gonna go hard in the paint because I think it's gonna do something. So I think you lose like not 15%. I forgot what you lose on it, but every time you go in and out. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and drop like $1,000 on it, and I'm gonna see what it does because I don't like what my Roth did. I don't like what the stock market's doing. I've lost a little bit of money recently in the stock market, and I'm not happy about that. One of my stocks is it's a dividend stock, but I looked at its yearly. Its yearly came down. I was like, "What's going on here? Like, am I going to get my dividends? Because they don't have to pay you dividends. So I'm like, am I at least going to get my dividends? My little 3.2 out of it." So I said, you know what? Let me just go ahead and get on the. Let me go ahead and jump the wave real quick and see if I can get some of that Bitcoin action. And what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm gonna because I think Bitcoin is gonna I think it's just gonna do one of these numbers. Okay, so here's what it's doing right now, and it's going down, but then I think it's just gonna take this last little dip at about 22, 23, And then I think it's gonna head on up into the 30s. But when it does, it's not gonna go like this and then head up. I think it's gonna go 22, 23, then it's gonna go 24, 25, 26, 27. And I think it's just gonna zoom right up there into the 30s. And the reason why I believe this is because of the banks. Like there's a rhyme to my reason. I was listening to a report, and when they were talking about how, for one, Usain Bolt, he lost $12 million from that bank over there in where he's from. $12 million gone, wiped out. Usain Bolt lost 12 million, gone, wiped out. And turns out that a woman took it, right? And she was the bank manager. Of course, she was making empty promises, getting money, and then taking money and then throwing it somewhere else. And then when they started looking into it, kind of find out she's part of this whole network that stole like $1 billion. She was just the front runner of it because she worked in the facility, and people trusted her, of course, because Usain Bolt had money invested with them. But $12 million of his is gone. So that started about 2 months ago when that came out. Not even that. It wasn't even that long. And then SV, I forgot what the name of the bank is. It just completely crashed. So when I was looking at that report, that just happened a week ago. And I was looking at that report, and there was a woman. I was looking at this on WorldStar, and this woman said she has a healthcare company. She's a CEO. And, she has a couple $1 million in that bank. She said she got an email from one of somebody she's affiliated with, because when it comes to healthcare, there's a whole network of people, So, and when she saw the email, she got, her and her other business partner got together and was like, what is this email? They were just alarmed of it. But the email read, take your money out of the bank now. So they wasn't sure to take it seriously until they started hearing some reports. Women, the women's cognizance is way different than ours. If I would have heard that, I would have done it immediately. But the women were just like, is this a joke? Like, what's really going on here? So they had to do some sleuthing and find out that it was not a joke. The guy was very serious. So what the lady did was, when you have money in the bank is backed up by the Federal Reserves up to $250,000. So what she did was she had to siphon out like a couple $1 million within like a day or two without the banks stopping her. So what that bank in particular did was start shutting down ATMs. So they wasn't allowing people to go in and have a run on the bank. And if you go back to when the war started in Ukraine, that's exactly what the Russians did, because America sanctioned Russia. So if you look at this thing, it's been happening. It's been, this whole thing with the Ukraine is just BS. I mean, it's just BS. They're going to starve a bunch of people. That's what they're really doing, because Ukraine is a major distributor of wheat. So when Russia got sanctioned by Joe Biden, they sanctioned the banks. So when it hit them in Russia, it went to everyone who had anything to do with that bank. So that bank is all over the world. It's like Bank of America. It's all over the world. So people from Russia, even in America, were trying to get their money out of that particular bank, and they couldn't do it. They're Russian citizens here in America who couldn't get their money. Now you turn up, I don't know how long the war's been going on, but now you turn up and you look and see this bank that just failed. It just dropped right out. And you're just like, well, wait a minute. Is this a knee-jerk reaction of the war? And the answer is probably so. It's probably so. Now, you're going to listen to a lot of people talk about the Dow and how, this is going to bounce back and that's going to bounce back. But the problem is our inflation rates are ridiculous and they're just printing off money, printing it, printing it, printing it. And we can't keep up with it. And the banks have been playing this game with the citizens for the longest time. And if you even go back further to when Obama was in office and you look at AIG and how AIG got bailed out, and look at the thing happened with AIG getting bailed out. That whole thing was a mess. It was a financial mess. And what it did was it started it kicked inflation out of control. That's what it did. Because when you bail out all of these companies, and a lot of what they did was their fault. You understand, AIG is an insurance company. They're an insurance company. And if you even, this whole thing that's happening now has started a long time ago. If you even go back to 9/11, 9/11 building number, what is it, number 7? The guy took out an insurance policy on number 7 that wasn't affected by any other building. Then all of a sudden it blew up and then crumbled like it was not. That's not even possible for that building to do it. But the guy had an insurance policy on it that he just took out and then bang. They're going to collapse the banks. Now, when that guy did that with the insurance policy, of course he went and collected insurance on that because he was covered. You know what I'm saying? So this thing that they've been doing with the banks and with insurance, they've been doing this for a long time. And the thing about it is a lot of people don't know how much they're covered, how much they're not covered. And in some cases, you just might not see your money. You got instances where people, even now, through Chase Bank and Bank of America and a couple other banks, where they're going, where's our money at? They're going and they're looking online and they find out that a bunch of their money is gone. This is not nothing new. There was a guy who won the lottery. He won millions and millions and millions. Older dude, he might be still alive. But the bank went in there and just took a bunch of his money. And they didn't give him any excuse to where it was. Because remember, $250,000, that's what you're guaranteed FDIC. Well, they just took millions of his money and just was like, boom, we have notes, we don't know what to tell you. It's gone. And that was just that. So this thing, what they're doing is nothing new. And because it's all cyclical and because it's coming to, the tip of the spear where people, everyday Americans, we now realize that we're not safe. Now we're looking for something to invest our something else to get our money into, and instead of just, liquefying our accounts and then trying to hold the money up under our mattress. We need something that's going to be permeable. We need something that's going to also tangible. You need something that's tangible, gold, silver, copper. You need something that you can trade that is going to be valuable. Pigs, horses, cows, all these things have, a lot more value because, look, even the euro is, the euro is 94 cents to the American dollar. And just to show you how much that is, it hurts, because when 30 years ago, when I was in Germany, we used to watch the mark rate, the German Deutschmark, and we watch it every day, because when it went above the dollar, we would go out and go shopping, because that means our dollar was worth more. What we would actually do is go and we would exchange our dollars, what we would do. We would go to and go somewhere and go, we know you're not going to take the dollar. We go somewhere, exchange it. We get more Deutsches from it. Now you look at all the way up to almost currently, before the euro was accepted everywhere, the euro was way more valuable than the dollar. Now the euro is not as valuable as the dollar. So there are some major changes in just finances that you need to be aware of, especially if you're going to travel. You know what I mean? So yes, I've been paying attention because yeah, I'm living through this just like you are. Well, I might be a little older than some of you guys, but I can remember some of these financial things that have happened, and I'm going, well, wait a minute, where have I seen this before? So these banks that are closing, we've you kind of seen this before. And there are some smaller banks that, like, guys, don't even take a chance on it. Don't do it because they have, fractional, quantities of what's actually there. You can't walk into a bank and get $50,000 of your own money. You can't do it. I don't even think you can get 15,000. So if you're somebody who, got it like that, you got, 40, $50,000 in the bank and you want to go in there and liquefy your account, you're not going to be able to do it like right away. And especially if you got, in the hundreds of thousands, you can forget that because the bank just doesn't have it on hand. They take your money and then they lend it out and to insurance companies, life insurance companies, and and then they go ahead and get money, back from that. They're doing the same thing you're doing. That's what banks do. They take your money and they invest it, except you don't know that. And that's how they make money. Every bank on every corner is doing the exact same thing. And that's how they make money. If that bank stops making money and people stop coming and giving that bank money, then it's like a Ponzi scheme. It's pretty much the gig is up. They invest in life insurance companies and other the stock market, especially like VOO, which is Vanguard. What they'll do is take their money, put it into a VOO, which is Vanguard, and Vanguard will give them a certain percent at the end of the year, usually somewhere around 7% at the end of the year. That's usually the average of Vanguard. But when you're talking about, say the bank has, it's hypothetical, say it's a mid-sized bank, and the bank has, $50 million in there. Or, even less than that, just $20 million. Well, if you put $20 million and you invest it into a VOO and you come out with 7%, well, you're not doing too bad. You take 7 times 2 and then, you get your percentage off of that. So that's what the banks are doing. But now that the stock market is teetering, you're going to have banks losing. You're going to see a lot more banks close. The stock market's going like this. I just lost $500. I didn't even know it. I just checked today. I was like, wait, what? So if the stock market's doing this, the Standard and Poor is down, and that's basically where they get that 7%. They get it off of the Standard and Poor, which is the S&P. The Dow, the S&P, and all of the markets. But that's really where they get it from, the Standard and Poor, the S&P, and where you can get your 7 to 15%. So, I looked at the Standard and Poor yesterday, and today, and it's down. And of course, it's not active today, but I looked at the results on my account from Friday. It was catastrophe. But yeah, it just took a dive. It just took a dive. So unless something major happens where that's just going to shoot right up, you're going to see Bitcoin do this, and you're going to see the stock market do this. So put your money into, well, I'm not going to tell you where to put your money into. I'm just telling you what I see and what I'm doing. Because if you lose money, you can't come back to me. I'm gonna take $1,000 and I'm gonna wait until the next dip because I'm gonna watch this every day. Watch this Bitcoin every day, and yes, holding steady at 27. So to me, when it holds steady, it means it's about to go up. It's a little decline, but that's not much. So I think let me look at what it did for the week. Yeah, 32% for the week. It's down 0.48%. For the month, it's gone up 10%. So to me, those numbers, it's just to me, those numbers tell me if I give it $1,000, that I think it's highly possible that I'm going to at least make $100 off of it in a month. And for Bitcoin, to me, that's good. I mean, if I can get an extra $100 somewhere, I'm all for it. You're looking at somebody who rides a bike around in the parking lot looking for pennies. Like I do that often because I get like $1's worth of change that's just laying out on the sidewalk, and I enjoy that. So yeah, I'm just gonna throw something else, another beat together. But I mean, if you got something else you want to talk about, we'll stick with finances. Do you have any Bitcoin? Like, is that you, maybe? You got some Bitcoin? So I tell you guys, if you don't got no Bitcoin, get some. Get yourself some Bitcoin. Yeah, I've been toying around with it, gaining, losing, gaining, losing. And what I do is, like, when I go and I make an extra dollar, I might do a job for somebody. I might sell a washer, something like that. I might get $100. You know what I'm saying? And if they pay me Cash App, I'm like, okay, you just paid me $100 Cash App. You know, if my regular account's doing good, then I take it and I go, hey, Bitcoin, what you got going? What's going on? What's going on, IB? How you be, man? We just talk about Bitcoin and things. So if I look at Bitcoin and I go, okay, what's Bitcoin doing? Is it up 10%? That's good to hear, man. It's a good site. So I'm like, is Bitcoin up? Is Bitcoin down? So I watch Bitcoin every day. Okay, yeah, right now I watch it every day. I think Bitcoin's gonna go right back up to like 60. Because don't forget when it went down at its height, it was 60,000 for a coin. Now it's 24,000 for a coin. There's no doubt in my military mind that Bitcoin is going to go right back up to 60 and it's going to keep going. I believe that. I strongly believe it because the more banks fail, the more people are going to buy real estate, the more people are going to buy Bitcoin and all those other coins, Ethereum and all that. And the more people are going to buy Yes, silver. That's what I was saying. Silver, gold. I was saying I ride around, and I seriously ride around looking for pennies in the parking lot. I have a whole jar full of them. Like I do it all the time. People be looking at me like, what's this guy doing in the parking lot all the time? Looking for quarters, pennies, nickels, dimes. I do it all the time, and I love it. I got a whole jar full of. I got a whole just jar just. I love it. I just ride around looking for little coins and stuff. It's tranquil to me. And sometimes I'm like, why am I looking so hard for these pennies? Well, I think they're gonna be worth something. And the thing about it is I find the really old pennies too. I think they're gonna be worth something. It's just it's a tangible asset. It's something that can it still has value. So I just tell people, man, hold on to your change. You know, you're not going to find none of those real silver quarters anymore. Those are not floating around. But you know, that copper is still that copper's copper, man. Copper is always going to be valuable, always. And here's another thing: metal in the junkyard is gone up. I was talking, you know, I do some junking every now and then. So I was talking to a fellow junker who he I was riding a bike. He wanted my bike, and he said, you know, metal's gone up. So if you don't know, us junkers, we uh, uh, when we take our junk to the junkyard, we pay attention to what the stock market's doing. Because if the stock market is up, then the price of metal goes up. Yeah, the price of metal goes up. So if you like, you got people who collect cans and stuff like that. They bring cans in vans, minivans. You know, because they, you know, the 60, $70 worth of cans. You got other people who will, like me, with appliances. If I okay, let me give you an example. If I have let's say I have a refrigerator, right? I know the different weights of the refrigerators that I mess around with. If I got just the white ones with the top freezer and the bottom refrigerator, just the simple white family ones, I know those refrigerators are gonna get me somewhere on average around $12. But if I have the big, you know, the ones that open like this in a drawer at the bottom, the three doors, if I got one of those, I mean, you looking at 25, $30 for one of those. So whenever the stock market goes up, you're paying attention, you're just like, oh, I want to throw this refrigerator away. Or you go around, you ride around town like some people do, looking for them. Like today, I was, you know, rolling around looking for my pennies, and somebody put out a deep freezer. Now, the problem with deep freezers is, like my guy I was talking to recently, he found one in the trash. And it was a, you know, a deep freezer. But the thing about it is a lot of time people throw them away. They still have food in them, so they smell. Well, when you take them up to the junkyard doesn't really want them because they smell so bad. Even though they're going to crush them, somebody still has to get near it. I found one that was twice as big and was completely cleaned out. I got it downstairs in my kitchen right now. I sprayed it for bugs, plugged it in to see if it works. Hell, I think I'm gonna go ahead and fix it. You know what I'm saying? Because if I fix it, you know, if I take it to the junkyard, a deep freezer, I might get $11 for that deep freezer. But if I fix it and put it on Craigslist or, you know, Facebook marketing, I'll get $60, $70 for it. Now, it depends on what I got to do to fix it, you know, how much I got to put into it. But, you know, if I put $30 into it and I get 90 out of it, I made $60 plus I learned how to fix it. It's all worth to me. Yeah. Now, some people will take that, rip the copper out. Some people show up with, they'll take the plugs, you know, they'll strip the. This one guy, what he did was he'd take appliances, he would cut the plugs, and he would separate the plugs and take the appliance in and separate the plugs. And he did this all winter. And while he'd be at home with his woman watching TV, he'd be stripping the plugs. He did that all winter and then took all the copper, because they want the copper, the plugs that you plug into something, the regular plugs and regular cords. Yeah. He stripped the copper, took it in, he got $3,000. So I'm just saying, there are some things that are valuable that when the dollar isn't any good anymore, just some everyday things that are around your house are going to be even more valuable than they are now. So if you see a penny, pick it up. And I'm serious about that. Pick that penny up. Pick it up. Yeah, if you see a penny, pick it up, because especially if you see an old one, if you see an old penny, pick that penny up. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Yeah, pick that penny up, man. Oh, that's cool, man. So I can get this right. Tonality. Yeah, I was gonna go to bed, but I was like, it might be a little too early. Let me get on and talk to the homies, see if somebody want to chat it up. Sometimes people do, sometimes they don't. Sometimes people want to talk to Tone. Sometimes people don't want to talk to old Tone. The older I get, the less people want to talk to me. Hey, you want to talk to old Tone? Nah. I want to talk to that old codger babbling about banks collapsing. He ain't saying nothing. Good night, man. Yeah, it's 11:24 here. Thank you guys for stopping by. I'm still going to jam out a little bit before I hit the old hay. Good night. Good night.